Hello, I'm Jo Rycroft from VOOM Nutrition, and today we're going to look at event day nutrition for ultramarathons. We're going to look specifically at basic nutrition and hydration strategies for you as endurance athletes, focusing on three key areas, that being pre-race, during your event, and then once you're finished. We've got three key aims that we want to fulfill pre-race, that being making sure we maximise our carbohydrate stores, so we've got plenty of energy on board, making sure we're adequately hydrated, and also minimising any risk of stomach discomfort. Your body is going to be put under a lot of stress on race day, both from the nerves and anticipation and then the physical stress of the event itself. Our digestive systems are very sensitive to both physical and mental stress, therefore any nutrition strategy needs to be tried and tested in training. This means your body is well accustomed to the food and drink you're giving it, and you're going to limit any adverse reactions such as stomach cramps. So about an hour before you start, you've got one last opportunity to top up your carbohydrate stores. We recommend the VOOM Pocket Rockets, which are going to give you 160 calories, or if you prefer a more real food option, you could go for a banana, which is about 108 calories. Exactly how much you need to eat will depend on how long you're planning on racing for and the intensity at which you'll be running at. So for ultramarathons, it's really important to remember that the body can only absorb and use between 30 and 90 grams of carbohydrates an hour. That's quite a broad range, and what we each need will vary considerably athlete to athlete. High GI foods are really easily digestible carbohydrates and will deliver energy really quickly to your working muscles. VOOM Pocket Rockets, Jelly Babies and energy gels are an example of such foods. It's also worth considering taking on a small amount of protein at regular intervals for ultramarathons. Some athletes find foods like peanut butter sandwiches or even sausage rolls work really well, and others prefer dedicated recovery products like the VOOM Recover Fudge. The VOOM Recover Fudge also contains medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs for short, and these come from the coconut oil. When you're running at low intensities for a long period of time, fats like these can be metabolised for energy. Digestion of fats and protein does take longer than carbohydrates, so you won't feel the benefit straight away. Any depletion in muscle glycogen when you're out running will cause a drop in exercise intensity, meaning essentially you won't be able to run as fast. So top tip, make sure you're eating every 15 to 45 minutes. This is easy to forget when you're in the zone, so if you're likely to forget, set an alarm on your watch and take a bite of food and sip of fluid at each buzz. During the race, you want to take on high GI foods like glucose to get energy straight into your system. A lot of athletes look at energy gels to fulfill this, but can often suffer from stomach discomfort as a result. This is because with gels, you've got to take it all in one go, and that puts a high concentration of carbohydrates in your stomach, and your body then draws in water to try and dilute it. Our VOOM Pocket Rockets solve this problem because you can take it one chunk at a time every 15 minutes and keeps your tummy happy whilst keeping you really energised. There's a few key secret weapons that you can incorporate into your race nutrition strategy. First is caffeine, which has been shown to give athletes both a mental and physical boost and reduce perceptions of fatigue or effort. So essentially you can push harder for longer. Caffeine is very individual in terms of dosing, so you want to look at options where you can dose appropriately. For example, using the VOOM Pocket Rocket Caffeine Kit, you can either take one chunk or 4 chunks or anything in between. The caffeine kit delivers 175 milligrams of caffeine paired with taurine for the ultimate boost. Research guidelines suggest 4 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight is optimal for performance. As a benchmark, an espresso coffee contains approximately 80 milligrams of caffeine. Beta-alanine is our second secret weapon, and this helps buffer lactic acid by increasing levels of muscle carnosine. So this is great for those high intensity efforts or interval training. The VOOM Beta Blast Pocket Rocket contains 2 grams of beta-alanine alongside 150 milligrams of caffeine. The recommended dose for beta-alanine is 4 grams per day, so 2 Beta Blast bars will satisfy this. Don't be alarmed if you feel a slight tingle when eating it. This is completely normal. So next, let's have a look at hydration. A top tip for before you start is to always have a water bottle with you full of your chosen drink. A lot of people travel to events and might spend 2 to 3 hours in the car or on the train, and they forget to take on liquid at this point. So if you have to, set a reminder on your phone to tell you when to drink. Hydration is highly variable and will depend on things like the weather, individual sweat rates, and the duration and intensity of the exercise you're doing. You can lose up to 1.5 litres per hour. So here's some interesting facts for you. A loss of 1 to 2% fluid will significantly reduce performance, whereas a 7% loss could actually result in collapse, which none of us want. The longer the race, the hotter and the more humid conditions, the more fluids you're going to need to replace. Sweating also causes electrolyte loss, so it's super important that you're replacing your key electrolytes. VOOM Hydrate Smart formula contains full spectrum electrolytes, and these electrolytes are designed to reflect the ratio of electrolytes that you lose in your sweat. So essentially you're replacing your losses all the time. You might have heard of different tonics of drink, and by this I'm not referring to Schweppes or Fever-Tree with your gin. A hypertonic drink such as VOOM Hydrate is designed to hydrate you 40% faster than an isotonic sports drink. So essentially this means that the concentration of glucose in a hypotonic drink is less than that of blood, and this means that the liquid will be transferred out of your stomach much quicker. A simple strategy for hydration for races over 60 minutes, which for you as ultra runners will be the case, is to take on 400 to 800 millilitres per hour. Make sure you're sipping the drink in small quantities regularly, for example every 15 minutes or whenever you're taking bites of food. Again, obviously this is going to be so variable, so you need to try out in training your strategy and work out what works best for you. So moving on to post-race, we've got a 10 to 30 minute window as soon as you've finished where your body is most receptive to nutrient uptake. So we've got to make the most of this window and get as much fuel in as possible to repair those muscles. A convenient option for recovery is the VOOM Protein Recover Fudge, which has an optimum 3-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. Carbohydrates are there to replenish your glycogen stores, and the protein's there to help your muscles recover. The Recover Fudge or Rapid Recovery Shake will start this process of recovery within your body, but you then want to look to take a full balanced meal 2 to 3 hours after you finish the race, or sooner if you're hungry. If you've got any questions, please get in touch, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share. VOOM in, power up.